Welcome to LNG. I'm Jemai Hakwani. Today I have Courtney Weaks. She's running for Metro Court Division 4.
That's correct.
Okay. And welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you having me here today.
Absolutely. Before we get into the background a little bit, I know Metro Court, you said the ticket was the one you're running on. It's an open ticket?
Right now I do not have opposition. That's correct.
Okay.
The governor could appoint somebody. I think her deadline is Friday, and then the Republican Party would have to do something to put that individual on the ballot. That's correct. It would be the deadline. So but right now, technically, it's an unopposed race.
Oh, okay. By the time this show airs, it will be too late.
It might be
They won't know that, so we're not going to put it out there just in case. So, well, I'm just trying to be fair. I don't know if somebody's going to be. You haven't heard anything yet.
I don't. Yeah, it will probably take a few more days.
Okay. So how did you get into the race? What was the real thought process back there? Like, okay, I think I'm ready to run for judge.
Well, you know what's interesting is I actually told my parents, I think when I was in the second grade, I did a mock trial when I was in the second grade, and I got to play the role of the judge. And I told my parents when I came home from that experience that I wanted to be a judge when I grew up. And in terms of this particular running now, you know, these opportunities for Metro Court vacancies don't come open all that often. And I put in for a vacancy through the Judicial Nominating Commission last summer when there was a vacancy. And I made it out of the commission, and I interviewed with Governor Martinez, and she appointed Rosemary Cosgrove-Aguilar, Judge Cosgrove-Aguilar, who's currently sitting, which was actually a very good appointment on the governor's part, I thought. So when this process came up, it actually was interesting because Judge Altweiss was the one who retired and created this vacancy, and I practiced.
Recently retired, right?
June 27th was her last day.
Oh, wow.
And I actually practiced in front of her. My very first day as a practicing attorney, I was a district attorney in Metro Court, and I was practicing in front of her. So it was kind of interesting. I felt like it kind of came full circle that I was going to be able to potentially take over that division. And it was just, I felt like it was absolutely the right time. And like I said, these opportunities don't come up all that often. So when they do, you have to take advantage of it.
You have to kind of feel it, I think.
Absolutely.
I mean, anytime you put your name on the ballot, it's so, you know, it takes a lot of commitment. Most people don't realize that.
No, absolutely. Yeah. And I went through kind of a different process too, because since her retirement happened after the primary, I actually had to do this process where I was nominated by the Democratic County Central Committee, which just happened on this last Saturday.
Yeah, correct.
So it's a little bit different than running a primary, but it was hard work, but it was an extremely rewarding process. And that was kind of my other decision, is I thought that this was in particular because of that process, I thought it was a good opportunity for me to put my name in and get on the ballot this time.
Okay. And you all need petitions and all that, right? Do you need petitions?
I do not need petitions.
Not
because
for Metro Court, right? As far as I understand, you don't.
So sometimes you do. If you need to, most
District
of the time you would need petitions to get on the primary, or the ballot for the primary race. But because I got out of the County Central Committee, then I'm automatically the Democratic Party's nominee to be on the ballot for the November election.
Okay.
So I kind of get to bypass the petition process because I was nominated by the party itself.
What is, I know there's 19 judges there, right?
Yes.
And then 3 of them civil, I think? Correct
Yes,
me if
that's
I'm
correct.
Wrong. Yeah. Let's try to break it down. In most of them, and I think it divided into 3 different compartments there as far as the court itself.
So there's civil and criminal are really the only 2 compartments of the court. And I'm running for a criminal division, so I would only hear criminal cases.
I see.
And then there's the civil division does more like small claims. They do a lot of landlord-tenant cases, any kind of small claims.
Talk a little bit about the civil. Now, how does the civil work? Is there a maximum? I know there was
the maximum amount of restitution or claim, I think, is $10,000 in civil metropolitan court. So that's.
And if it goes beyond that, then it goes to
you would have to file in district court.
Oh.
It's a jurisdictional issue.
And then they have juries as well in Metro,
yes.
Of course, right? And I'm sure you've done a few of them. That's a good experience.
Yeah,
right?
So I started, since I was a prosecutor and a defense attorney, I've done multiple, probably hundreds of jury trials in metropolitan court. And I've done some in district court too, because I've done criminal felony work. But that's kind of the beauty of Metro, and why I've really loved practicing there is you prepare for trial and you go, but you kind of don't know what's going to happen until you get into the court and you run the docket that day. And it's a juries of 6 people in Metro Court, and the process moves really fast, and it teaches you a lot as an attorney just to have to be able to move quickly and work through that process.
Similar process selecting jury?
Absolutely the same. It's the same voir dire process. It's just you pick 6 people as opposed to 12.
So that cuts it in half almost, the
yes.
time and all that, right?
Right, and it's a little bit, I mean, the issues are pretty, they're a little bit more straightforward. So, I mean, the bulk of the jury trials you're going to see are DWI and domestic violence cases. So a lot of those, I mean, obviously the voir dire process is meant to screen out people that might have, bias or prejudice or just don't want to hear that particular type of case.
Some conflict of interest there or
right.
something
So because the issues are a little, it's a pretty clear-cut issue that it kind of goes a little bit quicker, as opposed to if you're doing a jury trial for something like a child abuse case or something more serious, then it's going to take you a lot longer. Or if you have a high-profile media case over in district court, it's going to take the process is a lot longer to do jury trials.
And when I know you're talking about the jury thing, this jury selection process. It's a unique process. I really like that part of the process where they select. However, it's a pretty tough thing to do, to go out there. And I know you have experts try to go out there and kind of help you with this jury and stuff. And
you know what, Metro, you don't really get into that type of level to have experts.
So that's all district then?
That's more, and I think that's more big civil cases too, where a lot of people, when there's a lot of money at stake, that's when attorneys get experts in to do that type of
So who asks the judges, who asks the jury the questions as far
So
as?
the judge will ask some preliminary questions, and then most of it will be from the attorney. So the prosecutor gets to ask questions, and then the defense attorney gets to ask questions. And like I said, a lot of it.
And the judge mediates
and
it,
the
right?
judge mediates it. So yeah,
Okay.
there are some ground rules for the types of questions you can ask. But I think it's the process of jury trials is extremely interesting, and it's built into our Constitution in order to protect people's rights.
Well, I think I always liked that process. The jury of your peers. I mean, we hear that all the time. And I think it's part of our democracy, and I always thought it was a good thing to have. Okay, so let me take a short break.
Okay.
We'll come back and then we'll talk a little bit more about your race and a little bit more about the Metro Court. That way public knows, they're pretty informed, my viewers, but I like to kind of talk about it.
Absolutely.
We'll take a short break, guys. Be right back.